and Don Lemon's situation as far as he and the other reporter whose last name was Fort, was her last name Fort, and others were charged going into the church, all ICE related. However, Don Lemon made the news in another way, and that is Don Lemon has actually thought about running for president. And
okay,
I know
I didn't hear that. Okay,
it is actually pretty. It's a pretty funny. But he was appearing on a daytime talk show hosted by a woman by the name of Sherry. I'm going to say it's Sherry Sherrod, and he says, "Well, he was asked should he run for president, and he said, yes, why not? Why not? Why not? I'm asking that. I'm going to do it. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but why not?" He said, if Trump could do it, if Donald Trump could be president, why couldn't I be president? I might do it, he said. And the host of the show is Sherry. Yeah. So what's the deal here? Is he should he run for president? Can we have like a Stephen A. Smith, Don Lemon primary on the Democratic side?
Oh my God, I wish.
I like Stephen A. Smith. I actually think he's actually pretty intelligent.
He's an idiot. Politically, he's an idiot.
This is him on the show. This was him on the show, the Sherry Sherrod show. I was looking for the name of her show. To be honest, I Googled it and it didn't come up. So I don't know if she may have got a big boost by him being on the show and saying this. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? And this is the latest news on him, and we happen to be following him for other aspects. So I thought I'd bring it up because like Mike, did anybody hear about this? This is the first I heard of it.
No, because Don Lemon isn't important. It's important that and he wasn't even important because that he got arrested. It's what he got arrested for, his criminality. And the nature of the far left and the criminality they do. That's what was important and how that affects journalism. But Don Lemon, I hope he runs for president along with Stephen A. Smith so I can laugh as they lose incredibly. Not because Don Lemon's gay, not because they're black men, but because they are absolutely ridiculous in terms of their politics and their understanding of politics. That's domestic. Forget international. They have no clue what they're talking about. They're as bad as AOC when she shows up in Munich. They have no clue what they're talking about. They are embarrassments when it comes to politics, actual politics. And I hope that Democrats are dumb enough to give them money and give them the opportunity. But most likely it'll be like when Oprah was trying to run in 2020, in January of 2019. She ran for 1 month because she thought she could do it. She learned the reality. She embarrassed herself. Her background came up, and then she backed out as quickly as possible. Same reason why Michelle Obama won't run, and Democrats have no leadership, no plan, so they're stuck with Gavin Newsom. If they get lucky, They might have Josh Shapiro, and they're all going to lose. It'll be fun.
Right, so, Joe, you had something to say. This time, I'm pretty sure you had something to say.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think about Afroman running for president?
Also stupid.
Did he say he's running for president?
It's a joke.
I hope so. I like his.
He's a political joke.
His stances on civil liberties are pretty good. So I would like to see him.
No.
Well, what is his stance? Give us do you have an example? Give us an example of what his stance is.
That's it.
He was in the news recently for making. He's a rap guy, right? He's making pop, or not pop, but like he's a musical guy, right? So he was making music, making fun of the police coming into his house and basically just like ransacking it, doing whatever they wanted there. Like I think someone ate out of his fridge, I think. So he made a music video about it. And like I think one of the cops sued him. I'm not 100% sure on that. Mm-hmm. And then he ended up winning the case.
Mm-hmm.
Is it I mean, what do you think, Joe, about having non-political people like this, just throwing the hat into the ring? Like, I mean, Trump was non-political.
Yeah.
You have Don Lemon thinking about it, Stephen A. Smith thinking about it.
Well, I like it. I like people just in general. Like, I don't care what their background is, whether it's political or business or military or police, whatever the background is. I'm for everybody throwing their hat in the ring and talking about ideas, like having different diverse backgrounds and just getting the message out there to everyone. And hopefully people start learning different things about not just the same, one person, like in politics here in Florida, especially, you're pretty much a lawyer or a business owner, and you're getting elected office. So something other than those would be great.
Okay, how about you, John? What's the deal? Do you think this is just an attention-grabbing move for Don Lemon because he is kind of irrelevant, which is what Michael was saying, or is this something that he's might
I
really
think
sit
that
down?
I would have to hear more on his. I do know of him from CNN. And I think for both parties, I think what people are generally doing for 28 is that they know one word, affordability, and that's it. And I think that both parties need to get a good plan. And I think I'm going to be waiting. And I think that's going to be the thing, that policies are going to be good policies. Somewhere to go is going to be the way to go. I don't know. Affordability is a hard one because the government can't just say lower prices. But if someone can figure out something that we could do with the affordability of housing, which defies the concept of supply and demand, because reducing the cost of housing, it's a tough feat. And the only way is to increase the supply, build more houses in order to and then there are issues with the environment. So I think it's going to come down to people having policies and actual real things. But I see a lot of people just running on just saying affordability and just saying, I'm going to run and I'm going to get things more affordable and no plan whatsoever.
Specifically to people like Stephen A. Smith and Donald Trump before either Stephen A. Smith or Don Lemon. Are you okay with it? I mean, Carter was a peanut farmer, but then again, he was mayor before, in between. Are you okay with these people who have no political experience, jumping in, John? Or is it like somebody trying to fly a plane who's never flown a plane before?
I think it's great that you could jump in, but I think that like Joe said, throw your ideas into the marketplace, because celebrities run, and he's a celebrity. But the thing is, what is the meat behind it? So what is the substance to it? What plans do you have? Because just running as a celebrity, then it's then we get what we vote for, just a celebrity person. But what are the plans? What are your ideas? What are your solutions? And are they viable? And I think someone that comes up with really good solutions and really good ideas is really going to get the attention of the American people. I think too, it comes down to marketing your skills.
Sure.
I'd say the only thing to say for Trump is he seems to be the best marketer I've ever seen. He does market himself very, very well.
I mean,
and he has good plans, and he has good plans, and he's in touch with the public, and his sentiment actually reflects a majority of the public's point of views. You kind of are discounting him there, but of course, John, you're a Democrat, so I can understand why you would say that. But otherwise, the rest of America overwhelmingly agrees with him.
Yeah, I just don't see that. He hasn't sold it.
No, not overwhelmingly. I mean, he won the election, but I wouldn't say overwhelmingly.
Overwhelming
he barely won.
Majority. 60 depends on the issue. Depending on the issue, he has overwhelming support.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
You're saying he's over 50% approval?
Huh?
No,
you're saying he's over 50% approval?
Depending on the issue, yeah. That's what I said. Depending on the issue, yes.
I just don't see that right now. For 24,
you guys aren't watching the polls then. You're not reading the polls.
He was favored to win, and he won the election. And
why did he win the election? He won the election because he was reflecting the public. If we're talking about 2024, everything he was speaking about were things that the public were speaking about. And it's not the question of, I'm not going to question whether Don Lemon or Stephen A. Smith or Gavin Newsom should run. If they want to run, knock themselves out. If what's his name, Drugmine, wants to go and run, fantastic, knock himself out. I don't care about that part. They're American citizens. That is their right. Let them exercise it. Mm-hmm. The thing that makes me laugh at each and every single one of them, including Gavin Newsom, is that they have nothing to offer. They will say either celebrity status, or they will say that it's racism or sexism, or that they are going to fight against the other guy, but they actually offer nothing. And that's why I laugh, because that fails. What was Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the Democrats in 2024? What were they offering? The other guy is bad. They spent 11 years now telling us Donald Trump is bad without mentioning any of the things he's actually done. Whether you like Trump or not, he has had successes. He does have a plan, and his plan often has been the correct one, and not 100%, but he often has been correct, and the consequences of his action have been very positive. On the other side of that, the policies we've heard from, the further left you go, the more quickly they fail, and we have negative consequences coming back, which is being reflected in many of the federal elections and often at statewide levels too.
However,
very local.
When you talk about the left, Liberty Twitcher does bring up a good point. She said most people under 30 want socialist ideas nowadays. They want government to coddle them, and I do think that's a problem. I think they don't
know any better.
Yeah, because they hear it sounds great. The rhetoric is great, right? It sounds like it's going to be all unicorns and rainbows, as Larry Sharp says. But Larry's got to come on the show. We quote him all the time. He should be here talking for himself.
But did Trump make a mistake when in 2016 he went to Daytona State and he said that in Daytona Beach on every corner he was going to have a big manufacturing facility and we're going to have 60,000. He did say that $60,000 a year.
I'd like to see the quote of that.
He came in 2016. That's what he promised. Now
it's only 16. I was still in New York.
But
I've never heard that. I've never heard that quote, nor has it been cited by any national news media that I've heard of. If you have an article on that, I would love to see it.
Yeah, let's see if we can find it. Can somebody explain Liberty's last one? I'm not getting this one, but it doesn't fail. That's how Newsom gets elected. Oh, socialism doesn't fail? That's how Newsom gets elected? Or the ideas don't fail?
A
lot of
ideas do fail, but people but the politicians still get elected because it's a great sale of free stuff. Everyone wants something free. And Democrats love to push off the consequences. So everything is the other guy's bad and I will give you the free stuff. You just have to become my slave and vote for me forever. And they really, on that last part, they make it sound so nice. Don't worry, government's going to be there. We're going to have your back. We're going to help you until they get elected. And then they turn around and they do things like Randami did, which is, oh, by the way, there is no question, no problem, too large or too small for government to manage. Government will micromanage your life. Every one of his policies is about bigger government. Everything that Gavin Newsom does is about having a bigger government. How much of the Palisades has been rebuilt? One building. How many tens of millions did he get for that? He's had over a year to do it. He doesn't do it. Why? Because Democrats don't want to solve anything. And there are bad Republicans, no question about that, but we're talking as a general body in the elections, you're going to see Republicans, because they have such a negative, the media is so against them and want to lead everyone to vote Democrat. Republicans, by and large, must have policies and must have better policies because they're never going to have an advantage of just saying free stuff and know the media will not ask a hard question. That's what we tend to see over and over again. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so harsh about the Democrats about it, because they offer nothing. They have no plan. And that's why we get celebrities. You don't hear about celebrities, really. Donald Trump he's a celebrity. He was a businessman in the 70s and 80s, directly 90s, directly connected to every major politician in New York State and the federal government. He's been in politics for decades. He's not
Donald Trump had a much better profile when he was a real estate guy than he does as a politician. That's for sure. And he did run around New York with all the Democrats, and which is why I still feel that I just think he got into the race in 2016 on the Republican side because it was a wide open field. And if the Democrats had a wide open field, and the Republicans had their anointed Hillary Clinton to win candidate, that he would have went in the Democratic side. I think that part is just all performance art. So Liberty Twitch says Mamdani's doing what he promised, and that's what his voters wanted. And that's the truth. I mean, it is what it is. It's the way I feel about Trump. When people get mad about Trump, I'm like, well, he won the election, and so he's doing what he promised, which is kind of unusual for politicians. But Mamdani's going to try. We'll see what happens. I actually still think the jury's out on Donald Trump. I don't know if we could actually say he's been a good president yet, if his policies really worked. We still have I'm losing track, but we still have we still have like 18 months until
2.5.
Yeah, about 2 years. Oh, it's 2.5, not 18, 2.5. Yeah. So that's a long time, but all four of us know that that's a long time in politics, and a lot can change. We'll see. And a lot's riding on that too, because if he fails, the MAGA coalition goes away, and JD Vance is going to be in trouble.